watching knows who I am because you're tired of seeing me come up on your Facebook feed. I know you are. Don't lie. I'm tired of seeing me on my Facebook feed.
Jay, no. Jason, I feel like I'm talking to like a celebrity right now. Even though
it got ridiculous to the point where I was going, hello, friends, Jason from Elevate. And it's like, when you get to that point where you have like a habit, when you go like, you've got to break me of this.
So people are like having conversations in the feed.
So like, let's assume that people watching maybe don't know who you are yet. Why don't you go ahead and clue them in? Who are you?
All right, I'm David Cruz. I'm a personal trainer, training director here at Elevate Fitness, Do It, and I've been in the business for over a decade. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I'm now been out here in New York for about 5 years, and I feel like my face is getting a little bit more well known now, so I feel more comfortable kind of putting myself out there and building new things, so.
And going live on Facebook.
And going live on Facebook with Jason.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So David, so if you were a superhero, which some would argue you are, you have a really interesting origin story when it comes to personal training. And we have a whole blog post up on the website about that. So anybody who wants to read that in detail can check that out. But you got involved in personal training, health and wellness for really personal reasons. What's sort of the Cliff Notes version of that story?
Yeah, well, I think that when it was going back to my mom, my mom was morbidly obese. She was she battled with weight loss for a very long time, and it was something that was just deep in me. And health and fitness, as far as working out goes, it's always kind of been in me per se. I wouldn't say that I took it, I was that guy that Monday chest and tries, Tuesday back and buys, like that guy. And then I started to take it a little bit more further when I got older and I wanted to be more of help. I went out, got educated, and really went all out. Since then, my mother passed away in March of 2015, which is the year that I actually moved out here. She passed away in March, and I moved out here that August or October-ish. And then, but anyway, the whole point of that is we fought a good battle. We fought for a long time, and she ended up dying of cancer. And like you just said, there's a whole background story behind that. It goes really in depth. But we ended up losing, she was, when I say morbidly obese, she was extreme morbidly obese at one point, up to in the 500 plus pounds, and we ended up getting down to about 250, which was huge.
That's remarkable. Yeah,
right. So it was so I have some pretty I come from a different place, I think, when it comes down to nutrition and fitness and really helping people, in that sense, best I can.
And would it be fair to say, I think there's a common misperception about personal training as an industry. And you and I both know that our Elevate trainers are certainly of a different ilk, but we know from having been in the industry for so long that there are trainers out there who, they grow up playing sports, they grow up being super fit, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to be a trainer. They get their certification, they go and they want to train everybody to be a bodybuilder and to do a figure show or, whatever that very aesthetically based kind of goal in life planning is. But we know that regular people who don't want to be in a bodybuilding competition, who maybe aren't going to do the next Spartan race, regular people have a lot to benefit from taking care of themselves when it comes to health and fitness, specifically nutrition, because that's an area where, we're all guilty, David. We're all guilty. I have a prop table right over here, just off camera.
I get it.
Would you say that your experience with your mom made you more aware of the challenges that regular everyday people face and how difficult it can be to get control of your fitness and your nutrition and to make the necessary choices to live a healthy lifestyle?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jason, it's funny you say that, right? So just, I believe maybe it was either yesterday or the day before, I had posted a quote on my Instagram, and it said along the lines, I'm probably going to butcher it right now, but it said along the lines of losing weight and just put it under that umbrella. Losing weight and being healthy, it's simple, not easy. Don't confuse the two, right? So I think that that's where we're going with it. And I think that it's crazy because I think that we get wrapped up in this world where it's just like, oh, it's simple. There's some magical formula, let's go, or there's a magical pill and potion. And I think that, you know, motivation is only going to last for so long, and it's a difficult process, and it's and done right, it's not a fast process, you know, and you got to trust the journey and really embrace, you know, the ups, downs, left and rights, and just try to be consistent along those lines. I don't know if I'm really, but I think that you're right. I think it gets lost in the way of how difficult it actually is, even though, you know, there's so much information out there making it sound so simple, right? So
and I love that. I mean, that's such a great, whatever the quote is, and I'm going to go to your Instagram because I feel like I probably didn't like that post because it's not ringing a bell. But yeah, I like that it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, it's simple. Yeah. So the concepts are simple, but it's not easy to do. And that's a great segue for us because it's simple, but why isn't it easy? Let's talk about that a little bit. So people that maybe are watching who have made an attempt in the past to get their health and fitness or their nutrition in line and they've been unsuccessful. Why does that happen? Why isn't it easy?
You know what? I don't know, because everybody's so different on a case-by-case basis. But I will say this, from what I've seen, I think that I think we put too much emphasis on the scale, for one. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be one of our markers. Absolutely, right? But if it's our only marker, that can be kind of discouraging when you're working so hard, you're giving everything you got. We're associating cardio with weight loss, which it does help, but that's not where we're going with it. I mean, we got to fix other areas. And I think that when we put everything in one basket like that, it can be really discouraging. That, along with life, work, family, and I mean, I don't know. I'm not even going to go into the day and age we live in right now with this COVID thing. But you know, it's just I think that everybody's dealing with their own stresses, and I think that has a lot to do with it, right? That I think that paired up with let's talk about the other, maybe some other individuals that I train right now, that I run into, they go into the simple thing of maybe doing their research to get bit by this little nutrition bug, and they're like, I'm gonna go on a macro calculator thing on the internet and go do that route. And then what happens is that they get all this, all right, so we're gonna go, I'm gonna just throw it out there. I'm gonna go, all right, good. It says my macros are 40, 30, 30. I'm gonna do 40%, you know, protein, 30% fat, 30% all right, good. I'm off and running. And then they finally get to the place where they have to prepare a meal, and they're like, well, what does that even mean? I was like, you know, so I think that part, I think we live in a world now that I think we're a little bit more aware. We live in a good place right now, right? Especially for a person like me. We live in a good place where I think we're more aware of our nutrition and the good, the bad, and the not so, you know, the balanced part of it. But I also think that there's still so in my place, I get to coach more, which is a little bit more, I still educate, but I get to coach more. But I think that we go to a place where we kind of like, as soon as we get frustrated with that, I think we just amplify it and make it more difficult than it is. And it's hard because I don't think that we give ourselves enough credit for actually taking the leap to make a change, and then being okay with maybe being vulnerable and not really knowing how to go about it and reaching out for help. We think that we just kind of like, there's something wrong with us. And I'm not talking about everybody. I'm just talking about the things that I've dealt with in my own life.
A lot of people,
you know, it's like there's something wrong with me. You know, that's why, you know, this didn't work, or I'm not sure.
It's one of those topics that we kind of, you know, I think back to being a kid and remember my brother saying something about the shape of a person in public, and my mom being like, no, you don't say that, it's not polite. Which, you know, true, it's not polite to make that comment, but at the same time, we get this messaging that we don't talk about weight gain or weight loss. We don't talk about what it takes to reach your goals because it's a very personal thing and it's not polite to talk about. So all of a sudden, when we have that kind of ingrained in us, reaching out for help is so uncomfortable because we're led to believe that we shouldn't be having this problem in the first place. We shouldn't be talking about it. So yeah, I love that. Let's talk a little bit about instant gratification, because that's kind of part of the problem too, right? And not just nutrition, but fitness. Like when people sign up and they come join us at Elevate, and they're all fired up, and for like the first 2 weeks they're taking classes.
Let's make it happen.
The trainer, they're buying the swag, they're downloading the apps, and then 2 weeks later they're like, well, I'm not Adonis. What happened? Like, it's been 2 weeks. So, you know, patience is a virtue, and patience is a requirement for success when it comes to health and fitness.
Absolutely.
And what we know is that what happens in the gym, it's really easy for us to control that experience, right? Elevate's great. We've got great classes. We've got great trainers. We've got a great environment where you can come in, you can have a great workout. But the second that member walks out the door, we lose control over what's happening that affects those results. And I am so guilty. So everybody here knows I teach spin classes. So I'm so guilty of this, David. On days when I teach spin, I'm like, man, I must have burned like 8,000 calories in that class. I deserve dessert.
I know where you're going.
Yeah. So like we sabotage ourselves because we make these assumptions. So you have seen this problem. You've worked with thousands of clients over the years. That's I'm just throwing that out there because I don't know how to qualify.
Hey, I'll take it.
How many it is. And so you've seen it all. You know, you've seen people that come in and they work really hard in the club, and their efforts outside of the club sabotage them. You've seen the opposite, where people come in and they're totally lazy during their workouts, but they've dialed in the nutrition, so they see results even from those mediocre workouts. And, you know, for most of us, it's a balance of the two, right? We need the right workout program, the right exercise program, and we need the right nutrition program. And that's where Elevate has always been kind of lopsided. We've got you when it comes to the exercise program. And then you said, hey, I need to come up with a solution for this other side, which leads us to the method.
The method.
Tell us what the method is. The method with David Cruz. What is it?
So the method, that was a great segue. The method is my version, is my version of coming up with a nutritional coaching system for you, right? So I think that the first thing that we get off, the first point that I like to come across when somebody signs up for the program or coming for the consult is that they're coming in expecting the secret formula, you know, and the secret formula, I actually have it written down right here. I don't know if you can see that because it's blank. There is none, right? So the point of that, I think we all want that quick fix, kind of like that immediate gratification you're talking about. And the truth is that the method is my way of really sitting down on the passenger seat with you with a great navigation system, but it will not work. The car will not move if you don't drive it. You have to get in there, turn it on. So it's not something that you're going to come to me and I'm going to give you the magical answer. Together, we're going to work, and I'm going to navigate you to where we need to go.
I love analogies, and you just dropped a really great analogy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's the difference, right? So these other programs, like, you can go online, you can go to Men's Health or Women's Health, whatever, and say, oh, here's my goals, and then download their free nutrition plan. And it's a menu that then you've got to implement and do, right? And that's, you know, you said that the method was two things in the beginning that I got really excited about. You said it's a coaching system. And that's what's missing from other programs. You know, I've done, either because I have personal goals that are supported by the promises in other programs, or because I want to test them out and see what they are, right? Because I'm a nerd. So I've done them all, like, you know, the prepped meals that you get, the download the personalized plan based on your blood type. And, you know, just like those people that come into the gym and for the first 2 weeks, they're like, I'm going to work out, going to take all the classes. I'm the same way in the kitchen. It's like, I'm going to make this meal. And then by week 2, I'm like, I'm a little tired today. I'm just going to go ahead and Grubhub some pizza. It's a cheat day. That cheat day becomes a week, becomes a month. So, you know, this, instead of what people are accustomed to use your analogy, instead of driving up to the gas station and somebody like leaning in the window and being like, okay, here's your directions. Go a quarter of a mile down the street, take a left, go right, go over the bridge. So you're getting in the car. And you're actually helping that person get to the destination. And what makes it better than automation, and we know, right, especially after the last 6 months, we know we love our automation. Like technology to the rescue 2020, right? But the reality is an app isn't going, I can turn an app off. MyFitnessPal. I can just delete you from my phone, MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I don't get those reminders anymore. But when you've got a person, a real life person who has the expertise, the knowledge, the experience, and you're working with that person every step of the way, it's a lot harder to give up. And that's the biggest challenge, right? How do you, regardless of the program, the biggest challenge is how do you not give up? Because most of us give up before we get there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's so far I've had some really good success with the people that have signed up. Their hunger has lasted, and so what I'm offering, one of the things that I wanted, like when I created this, when we came together and I wanted to move forward with this program, there's a few things. I've ran a few weight challenges in the past, right? And one of them, as much as I loved it, oh my God, I think one of them we had up to 30 people. The other one was a little bit less. It was we had 6 of them all together, all numbers vary in different walks of life. Great people. My favorite, I did have some favorite parts about that. My favorite parts about that is that they all got to know each other and we became like a little family after a while. That's cool. That's priceless. If this is not that, so I'm going there only because that's probably the only thing I missed the most. There was so much that I didn't like, and what I didn't like was, one, there wasn't a cap. So it became so overwhelming that I couldn't be like, if you were with me, I couldn't be like Jason. I couldn't give you my 100% undivided attention all the time, right? So I mean, granted, we all want, excluded from family time, stuff like that. But I'm just saying that I want to be there. If you send me, hey coach, is this in my program? Can I have this? And then, I want to be that involved.
It better be, because that karma water is awesome.
I was like, I know you like these. My new guilty pleasure.
That's the pina colada, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is a guilty pleasure. You might not like it. Yeah, I love those things. But what I'm saying is that there's so much. I wanted to cap it at about, at a number that I feel like it's appropriate for me, where I can still give you 100% attention. We can go according to your plan. If it's weight loss, if you're looking to step on a stage, fight in a cage or a ring, I don't care what you're doing, or you're just a regular person coming off an injury. It doesn't matter. We will together, we will build what you need and get you to your destination, for lack of a better word, just because we're just overusing this analogy like crazy.
No, we could never overuse it. It's the perfect analogy.
Yeah, like we're just gonna keep rocking this and the wheels fall off again.
Yeah, for sure. The wheels.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So that's what I wanted. I wanted this to be more intimate. I wanted it to be, it's not about, we do weigh in, but the scale is just one of maybe 4 or 5 different measurements that we're going to take. And I need to be realistic. I mean, one of the things that I'm running a lot on is that I think that I think that it's a misconception that people are going out there, and I'm sure that there's people watching right now. They're like, well, it's not, I don't eat that much, I don't know why it's not happening. Well, we're going to figure that out. Right. And then one of the things that I'm pretty confident is that I've ran into a lot, and I don't know, more recently than ever, is that when we talk about eating habits and calories, I feel like a lot of people have gotten into this place of, and I think that's the world that we live in now has really driven that, which is like dropping these calories to such a low amount that we've actually screwed up our metabolisms. Yeah, in a way that is like unbelievable. It blows my mind, because you see these people, and I tell them this, and I think that they're just like, I think we live in a world of like, we've seen so much and we're so stimulated by everything around us that they don't really believe it. They don't know what I'm talking about. So I sit down and I explain, and it still doesn't make sense when I say, you know what, this is what you're doing hasn't worked. So let's try this. Okay, and let's go here. And they're like, all right, so you want me to eat more? All right, I'm here to lose weight. Well, that's just the one protocol. I'm just saying, and I'm trying to get into that, whatever your needs are, that there's a method to try to reverse and get back to where we are. Unless you're competing or stepping on a stage, I want that too. We can definitely create something specifically for that. But for the everyday person that's looking for health, wellness, aesthetically pleasing look. We all, you know, come on. All right. So, and then
I
all
look
those,
good in the mirror when I walk by.
of
Yeah.
course, yeah, we all. I just want to lose weight. I don't care how I look. You're lying. We all associate weight loss and abs. Like those things come together. Like that's what we think about, right? We think about weight loss. We think about, well, I want to have my six pack out. Well, that's a different conversation. But I'm just saying that that's what we associated with. So I'm looking to get to where you're trying to get without going the diet route, where after 6 weeks you have to re-sign up and then come back because we just gained all the weight, like the Biggest Loser, all those other, you know, little programs. And I'm not knocking anybody. You know, there's been, if you have something and you've done something that works, whether I agree with it or not, let me say something. Life is rough, and run with it, because it's so hard to find something that you can actually sustain. That even though it may not work for you, it could work for me, you know, or vice versa. So my biggest goal is to help you find that. Let's find what works for you. Let's find what your non-negotiables are. All right, because we all have them, you know. Whether I don't know whether there's a glass of wine at night or whatever, I have them too. You know, I love sweets. That's my guilty pleasure. So, but you gotta have control, right? So let's work around that, because I don't want to rip anything out that gets you to that has you enjoy life. Like if you told me I couldn't enjoy another dessert for the rest of my life, like that's not a good quality of life for me, right? I got to be realistic. But let's build around that, and let's fix other little areas, and kind of make that, you know, let's make it sustainable, so that you're not really dieting. You're never dieting. All we're doing is cleaning things up and making it a habit. Just like you created a habit to eat the way you're eating now, I promise you, we can create the same habit without you thinking about it the other way around, where it's actually pleasing on all areas, and not just aesthetically, but internally too. It feels good when you're sitting on the couch and what was once comfortable, and your leg starts moving around, because you just want to get up and move. Like that's magic. Like that's magic. If you're sitting there and you haven't done nothing all day and you're just staring at the wall, we have to have that conversation. Internally, I don't care how you look, but internally things are not firing up, and unless you've been overworked all day, then you should want to move. We're built to move and enjoy life. And I think that we, especially coming out of this quarantine, I don't even want to go that route again. But coming out of there, this is the time to get up and get out more than ever, right? So I just want to be a part of that journey. That's it. You know, from there, you teach me where you are, I guide you where you want to be, and then together let's make it happen. There's no secret formula. I just want to help and then be a part of it. That's it.
I love it. And that's so important to know. So you're not applying a standard formula or a standard system or a standard program to everybody who sits down. You're actually sitting down with each person and saying, let's figure out what the specific, unique program that's going to work only for you is.
Absolutely.
And let's go there. I love that. So you mentioned quarantine, and I know we're all so tired of talking about it, but we do have to mention it a little bit, because we were already a sedentary culture. And then what happened was, out of nowhere, we took out our commute to work. We took out like all of these extra things that we were able to do that you know, aren't safe to do anymore right now. And we become more sedentary. We're meeting over Zoom. We're, you know, we're not going out to dinner. We're not walking around the neighborhood. So it is important that we adjust the way we live so that we can live the way we want, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, we also know that I feel like, I don't know what's going on.
And it's contagious, because now I feel like doing it too. I'm like,
it's because, and we should mention, we are in isolated offices by ourselves. Nobody else in our offices except for us. My mask is right here in case I have to leave the office. That's why we are not masked. But there's something about like being here and feeling like I need to touch my face now, because I'm never touching my face, but I'm going to put my hands away.
Especially when they tell you not to.
Yeah.
Like,
like, don't what? Don't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like, don't touch your face. I'm like, we live in a weird world right now. I know.
It is. It's so strange. But now the flip side of that is, not only did we become more sedentary, but it's more important than ever that we do what we can to build up our immune system and our baseline of health, so that as we work our way through this pandemic or the next pandemic, forbid, that we are better equipped to handle that. And that comes not down just to the exercise. That that does not just come down to the exercise. That's how I meant to phrase that.
Yeah.
But it
I
comes
like
to
where you were
what
going
we're
with it.
eating too. And
Yeah.
there's so much misinformation everywhere, from the commercials we're watching to the magazine articles that we're reading to what our friends are telling us on Facebook they did to lose, 3 pant sizes. Do not follow that advice ever. I don't care who your friend is or how much you trust them. Don't do it. So we need to work past that. So David, okay, because I can talk all day, and I will.
Yeah. Oh, me too. We do this all day.
We talked about kind of the big picture, right? So let's get specific. Let's get granular. So I sign up for the method. What does that process look like? What do I expect?
All right. You sign up for the method. You get an email, right, with a questionnaire. The first one is only 2 questions. Pretty straightforward. Kind of gives me an idea of, of where you're at. All right. Then you're going to get a second set of questions. Before we even meet, I don't want to sit down and then have to ask you this. And I want to already have a base of where we're at, of where we're going to go with this conversation. So your time is valuable. Our time is valuable. Let's make this count as much as we can. So you're going to fill out a second questionnaire. You're going to set up an appointment to meet with me face to face. Or if you're not comfortable coming out, this is for everyone. So if you're not comfortable coming out and we need to do this via Zoom, that's perfectly fine. I do want to see you live, right? So whether it's in person or through Zoom, I want to see your facial expression. I want to feel. So with that said, we're going to start chipping away of where we're at. That's really where we're at, what's going on, and where we want to go, and then set some realistic stuff. I mean, it's just coming in and, well, I want to lose weight. All right, well, great, but let's talk about what you're really telling me. So you want to look aesthetically pleasing. You don't care whether your insides are rotting out, or, I mean, how are we going to do this, right? So, and I'm kind of being sarcastic about that a little bit, but I just want to make sure that I want to gather as much information as possible, so that when we set our foot down and say, all right, this is what we're going to start, and this is where I expect to be in this time, I know exactly where we're going, and we have a clear understanding, no surprises. I'm going to let you know where I'm at. And, one thing is that I think that the first meeting is always pleasure, it's always a pleasure. All of our meetings should be pleasurable, but I take this very serious. I want to hold you accountable. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I want to know why. So the whole, kind of dodging and ducking, and, I want to be as much a part of it as you want. I'm not going to enter the door unless you let me in, right? But if you let me in, be prepared that let's get right to it. Where we got 6 weeks to make some serious changes that, like, you shouldn't love me the whole time. At the end of it, I want a nice big hug and a high five, and then boom, we succeeded. And we decide to continue our journey, it is not going to be for the same reasons you signed up with me for. It's going to be for level 2. All right. You don't need me for that anymore. You know what to do there. Or now we're doing to prepare for something, maybe for a race or whatever, or prepare for grandchildren. I don't care. All right. So let's do that. Let's take it to the next level. But we got to start somewhere. So that's really where it's at. You schedule a comp session. We meet. We get a plan. You have to start recording. So that's another one of the things that people have a hard time with. And I get it. To sit down and have to really record. The problem with that is that it's a must. It's mandatory, because if we don't know where we're at, we have no idea how we're going to get to where we're going, period, right? So we have to, in order for me to be effective and not, give you some cookie cutter, program, which I will not do. For that, I politely bow out. I'm sure you can find some other person around here locally that would love to take your money and give you some program they downloaded off bodybuilding.com. Great. And then cut out all your carbs and then see how that works out for you later on. But let's really sit down, let's record, and then let's get serious. It's not me telling you what to do. It's us communicating together and figuring it out. And then from there, let's move forward. So that's really what, I'm passionate about it. I want people to really feel like when you're coming in, is because you're coming in because playtime's over. The luxury of sitting down, relaxing was last month or during the past. Now let's get down what we came here to get. Let's get it. And that's really, at the end of the day, I'm going to do my best to get you there, but I can't do it without the person really giving me what they got. You give me what I got, I promise you 24/7, I will give you everything I got, at all costs, the best I can.
And I will say, and I think we've talked about this before. If we haven't, don't let it go to your head, David, but it's impossible to be in a room with you, have a conversation with you, and not be inspired to do something. There's something about, and this is what makes you such a great trainer. There's just something about you that, like, I want to get to work right now, this very moment. Like,
let's go.
On Friday afternoon, by myself in my office, I'm fired up. There's just something about the way your enthusiasm, and it spills over and it's contagious. And I just hope that somebody's watching this that says, you know what, I'm not living the life that I mean to be living, and I want to change that. And I'm so hopeful that they find you, because I know that you know, it's you know, you're a personal trainer, you're a nutrition expert, but what you really are is you're a life changer. And that goes back to that blog post that we talked about at the beginning. And if you haven't read it, go to our blog on elevatesyracuse.com, check it out, have tissues ready. I edited it. I still cry when I read it. It's such a, just such a good story. So check it out. But David, I'm going to, just to lighten the mood a little bit before we say goodbye for the afternoon, I'm going to ask you some really quick, easy, simple, 1 word, 3 word or less answer questions. Yeah.
All right. 1 word, 3 word or less. I like it. Let's go.
So you're a sweets guy. What's your favorite dessert?
All right. Wait, hold on. Start that all over again. What?
Okay. Okay. Ready?
Boom. Yeah.
Okay. You said that you are a sweets guy. What is your favorite dessert?
Off the top, baked cookies, home baked cookies. So yeah, I'm telling you, and I'm like, don't get it twisted. Don't let the fitness thing fool you. Like, I am good at what I do because I get it. Like, don't let I get it. I get it. I remember so many days, you know, when I'm going back to my mom of going over there, and we associated food with everything.
Yeah.
If there was and I'm not talking about just food. I'm talking about like ordering out Chinese. You know, you're dealing with somebody who's been there. I'm not that dude. I don't know. I don't want to put anybody else in a you know, go that route with it. But you're dealing with somebody who grew up associating every emotion. If something great happened, let's go out to
celebrate with food.
Let's eat.
Console with food.
It's like, and then with me in my own personal life, like my treats, I feel like I like going back to a sweet guy. And I think that's what the whole point of this is, that I can relate. I get it. So when we sign up together and you look at me and you tell me your struggles, I promise you there's nothing, not only will I get it genuinely, but I know how, I know that it's not, I can be honest with you when I say that, one, it can be changed, right? It's all up here. It can change. And if there's certain things that you don't want to change, because a lot of times we don't, like, I don't want to give up cookies. I don't. I love chocolate chip one with the little, but I'm not going to give that up. If you told me I couldn't have another one a day, I work hard, right? So I work hard. I want to, but they're no longer an emotional, I earned that, you know? So I earn it, and I don't do the whole pan thing no more. Now I just take out my stuff, and believe it or not, it's actually satisfying, and there's no guilt behind it, because one, I prepared for it. And this is something that all of my clients that we talk about, they, like I said, back to non-negotiable. We don't have some non-negotiables, and it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a drink or something we eat, doesn't matter. If that's your non-negotiable, the thing is that what we're going to do is work around it, and eventually you'd be surprised what happens. It's been my experience that the better we do and the better we feel, the less that we feel like the non-negotiables we have, the less important they really become, right? They just automatically disappear. So even when I say, you know what, in our program, we made room for this, so you can have that. You might look me dead in my eyeballs and say, you know what, I'm good. I'm all right. I don't, and whatever reason that was, whatever emotion you had attached to it, that was. And I'm no therapist in that sense. I'm just saying that I know, and I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'll sit back I'm like, it happened. This is what I was talking about. That nobody believes until it actually happens.
Yeah.
Right. So
and it's because you don't know what the effects of the change you're about to experience are going to be until you've experienced the change, you know. And it's the same thing as people who, like, you know, they give up coffee or something, that a lot of people sit back and think, oh, I could never live without my coffee. Well, you could never live without your coffee because you've made that decision. But if you start to make some changes in your life, you might just be surprised to find out that you hate coffee.
I know.
But I don't think that's the case with the chocolate chip cookies. Now, I have to say, I was laughing because when I asked the question initially, you said, well, off of the top of my head, and I knew what happened right there was every single sweet you've ever encountered in your entire life was right there at the top of your head. And you're like, oh, I'm the same way with candy. So if you like ask me what my favorite candy is, I'm like, okay, my favorite candy is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
No, it's a list. I mean, it would never end.
There's a list. I'm like, you're holding up hands. I'm like, the candy. All right.
It would go on.
Which is the number one, though? Which is the number one? I mean, one. You got to have one that pops in.
No, how could I do that to all of the other candies?
They'll all be offended.
Yeah.
It's like that cell phone commercial with the little pop. Anyway. Yeah, but
I love them all. Okay, so question. If you were in a position where you could give one piece of nutritional advice to the entire world that they were going to truly take to heart, embrace, and implement in their lives, what would that piece of nutritional advice be?
One thing.
Just one thing.
One thing.
You can only say one thing.
Take 1 week, right? 1 week of your life and just track your food. That's it. Have an awareness. Whether you come to me or somebody else or you do your own research, I'm all for that. I'll even give you can even ask me a question if you see me on the gym floor. And that's nothing. That takes 5 minutes. I will tell you, but track your stuff. Find out where you're at. You cannot get to where you're going if you do not know where you're at. And
you know why that works for me, right?
Yeah. Why? So you track your stuff?
Oh,
sort of?
Yeah. Compulsive.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, I track it all, like so track it, or I don't track it at all. It's and here's the thing: when I'm tracking it, the reason tracking works for me is I don't want to write down at the end of my day when I've got my great meals and my great decisions that I made all day. I don't want to write down 3 bags of Skittles, a pack of Starburst, and an entire Twix. I just don't want to write it down. So it's amazing that you aware. I think
I got diabetes just hearing you say that. No, just kidding.
I mean, that was my dinner last night. Are you saying that was the wrong thing to have for dinner?
No,
I guess I'm signing up as soon as we're done with this video. Yeah, but the point is like tracking, for me, at least in my experience, it makes you aware because so much of what we do is mindless. We're all so busy. We're running from work to appointment. We're homeschooling kids. Well, I'm not. I homeschool my dog, but she's the perfect student, so it doesn't count.
She's adorable. She turned 9, right?
Yeah, 9. Yeah, she's like a senior in homeschooling. We're doing all these things and we're racing from place to place. And, I notice I do this with Kind bars. I love Kind bars. They're delicious. And I'll grab one before I go to teach. And then after I teach my class, I'm kind of hungry, so I grab a Kind bar. And then later in the afternoon, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling a little peckish, better have a Kind bar. And at the end of the day, like I've logged 5 Kind bars. And I was like, what? I don't own stock in the company. What am I doing? So yeah, I totally agree. If I had to give somebody advice, I would be right there with you. And I'm no expert, but I would say tracking is amazing. Okay, last thing. For somebody who is watching this and they're like, yeah, I know I need to make a change, or I'd like to make a change, or I'm not happy with the way things are right now, but I'm a little bit apprehensive. I'm a little bit uncomfortable. What would you say to that person?
Get over it. You got to pull the trigger. Yeah. I mean, you're uncomfortable got you to where you're at now. Like, what are we going to do about it? We're going to stay there. Like, let's go. So reach out to me. If you're not comfortable seeing me face to face, let's go to Zoom. I mean, we don't bite, let's make it happen. It's rare. I don't know. Maybe I make some people feel uncomfortable. I don't think I do, but once you break that ice, then an issue. You know what? You don't even have to talk. Don't talk. If you're listening to this and you're that person that feels uncomfortable, just sit in front of me. I just want to talk to you. Let me do the talking. And if you feel like talking, then you can go. But I think that where we're at now, we have to get a little bit uncomfortable. And there's no. If you're looking to stay comfortable, then I'm not the guy for you. You come see me and come see me when you're ready to make a change, and you don't even have to be 100% ready. If you get a spark, and we all get those little motivational sparks, there's like, oh, I'm going to do it. But if you wait till tomorrow, you're not going to do anything. Book the session now, answer the questions now. They're on the website. You could just literally click on the method program and then let that be your first step. right? I'll take over from there. And all you got to do is let's just keep momentum going. I'm going to do my best to keep, to make sure that you're getting all the information you need to try to make you as comfortable as possible. Outside of that, it's really up to you. You gotta step over the line. That's it. And when you do, I'm there waiting.
I love it. No nonsense about how to make somebody comfortable, but just embrace the discomfort.
Yeah.
And you're going to come out the other side of that discomfort with new supporters in your life that are there to support your goals and help you get there, with an increased sense of self-confidence because you went through that discomfort, and you're just going to win in the end. You mentioned the website, so I did have it before we started recording. I had it up here,
then it died.
And it went out. So, but I do have right here, I just want to show everybody, if you go to the website, elevatesyracuse.com, all the way up here by the Facebook links and everything, you'll see it says the method. If you click on the method, that'll bring you to this page, which has got all sorts of information. And just put your information in there if you want more information about what the program is, what it can do for you, who the heck David Cruz thinks he is putting together this program. If you have any of those questions, fill out the form. David will get in touch with you. David, as always, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Jason, thank you.
What people don't know is I was supposed to be over there in DeWitt with you today. We'd been talking about this for a couple days, and I was going to be over there. We're going to do this video. And just so everybody knows, it's my fault we're Zooming. I woke up this morning, did not wake up. I just woke up and went about my business. And I don't drive. I take the bus. Driving it terrifies me. And I got on the wrong bus. I just got up and I got on the wrong bus. So we had to Zoom. So thank you for your flexibility with that, David. I appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure.
I'll see you next week in the club.
So.
All right. Thanks so much.